Okay, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for coming here. I'm Paul Doyle, the league director, and we're really excited about this first American Track League to kick off here in Bloomington. We've assembled a pretty great field of athletes, and 5 of those athletes are here in front of you today. We've got Lashinda Demas, who is the American record holder, North American record holder in the 400-meter hurdles, 52.47, and world champ and Olympic medalist. Then we have Lolo Jones, 2-time world indoor champ, 3-time Olympian, once Winter Olympics, just recently. Trell Kimmons, one of the 3 sub-10 100-meter guys in the field tomorrow. He's going to talk a little bit about the 40-yard dash and proving a point to some football players. We've got Dee Dee Trotter, who's a 3-time Olympic medalist. And we've got Morgan Usini, one of the top middle distance runners in America, and also a Indiana native. So I guess we can open up the floor to questions to start off, if anybody wants to be the first to break the ice.
Just for all you guys, whoever wants to take it, basically, what would it mean for you guys just to get something like this started, to get an American Track League going? I'm sure all of you guys have done international competition, been to Europe, and done all the traveling. Just what would it mean to have something more convenient going around here if this could get started?
Well, it's very important to me personally as an athlete, but also I believe that a lot of my fellow athletes believe that having something close to home is really important to us. We work really hard, and we sacrifice a lot, and we spend a lot of our time competing overseas, which we love our fan base there, and we love the support that we get from our overseas spectators and fans. But to have something at home and to bring a league into organization where we can basically have a platform to stand on outside of just being a lot of individual athletes running in circles, I think this is a great opportunity for us to actually expand and bring a lot of visibility to everyone here in the States, and let everyone know that we are track and field, and we are a great sport, and we are great athletes doing great things, and to let everyone be a part of that and come support us at home around the corner from where you live, and be able to have our hometown come out and support us, and not have meets that are maybe once in a while. I've had probably one meet where my family could really come watch, and it's kind of 10 years of running, and that's as close as I've gotten to sharing that experience with them. So this is a big deal for us, definitely.
I'll add a little bit. Yeah, just to go along with that, I think America has such a strong presence with Olympic athletes. We have from sprints to throws to jumps, we have amazing athletes, and for Americans to not really get those opportunities to come see these athletes in person, I think is kind of a missed opportunity. So, hopefully this league will kind of bridge that gap. And I think there's also been a boom of recreational runners. Like, I live in Boston now, and the Boston Marathon just happening. It was, phenomenal. And I think these kind of races maybe will help bridge that gap between the recreational runner and the pro athlete.
And I think to add to it, it's also good to show that we're an actual professional sport, because a lot of people don't look at track and field as a professional sport, and we're professionals that run in a professional sport and not amateurs, which is known in the Olympic Games. So I think it's great to kind of pitch that to everybody, letting them know that, yes, we make money doing this. This is how we do it, and we're professional people. So
I guess I'll add as well. I think my main thing is I'm just tired of, the U.S. fans saying, hey, when can I see you run? And I'm like, oh, well, every 4 years at the Olympics on TV. So having track races in the U.S. on a regular basis allows our fans to not only watch us every 4 years, and that's huge. And we're really appreciative of that fact. And a lot of us here are just thrilled to be here. And Bloomington, this is good. I was more excited to come here than to travel to Europe and get another cool stamp on my passport. I was so thrilled. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the U.S. It's beautiful. So we're glad to be here.
We don't need the mic for the question.
For Lowell and the rest of you, that the International Diamond League, circuit isn't going to disappear, and they do offer money. Do you see this as kind of competing against that, or being kind of more complementary? Because sometimes it's really difficult to get lanes or entry into some of those fields in the Diamond League, and if you're not a sometimes top 6, 8 in the world,
I look at this as a complete expansion of the sport. If anything, it will help out with, competition there. And you could just look at it as an ocean. I mean, the body of water, you never can have too much water, basically, is what I'm saying. And that's how I look at it.
I say you made a really valid point. If you have, a certain amount of lanes, 9 lanes in Europe, sometimes 8, if you aren't ranked top, you don't get a race. And so that is actually killing our youth. I train with a lot of youth that eventually one day will be Olympic medalists, Olympians, but they can't get in those lanes now. So a lot of them are opting to go have regular jobs, and they're quitting track and field. If they do that, we won't continue to be the best track and field country in the world at the Olympics. So these races are ensuring that the youth of our sport have a chance to compete. Also, it ensures the vets that we have as well have a chance to compete at home and are sharp for those dominant league races. I think they do complement each other very well.
The timing of this is interesting too, because now there's a proposal to basically eliminate you guys from college meets, and a lot of huge meets. You're you're running with elite college athletes. Some of them are on the brink of the pro level, but I don't know. It just seems like that would be for a lot of these, and even like the distance races especially, seem like that would be really harmful if you're not allowed to compete against college athletes. Any comment?
I think spending most of my career doing a lot of my preseason training with the collegiate competitions and the open invitationals to the college meets, it's been very important to me, and it's also been very important to them. It has been a huge asset in helping them improve their performances, and it's been also a great opportunity and a training environment for us professional athletes. I cannot imagine the sport changing that dynamic, because it really does give them a boost to run with us, to even sometimes occasionally beat us, to, them pushing us when we get out there like, oh, I got to really get on my game. I think that's an atmosphere, and that's something that really has helped develop them. It's huge in developmental training, and I think that letting that go would be a disservice to our sport and in its advancement.
Sure, I wanted to ask you, for people maybe who have aspirations of getting to your level, what is the workload like now? In terms of needs, in terms of preparation, how difficult is it to get to your level and then sustain it in terms of training?
It basically just mental. You got to have a strong mind and go out and do your best every day at training. You don't have a bad day. I don't have a bad day at training, no day. So every day that I get up, I go out and give my best and be mentally focused and physically ready to run. And that's the best I can give you.
And Lola, maybe the same thing from that, given the fact that you're doing multiple Olympics, multiple sports. I mean, do you ever get a break, or is it like 24/7, 365?
Well, last 2 years were really tough. I had, I think, a total of 2 days off, and then a lot of those were involved, like, I would go speak to kids, and then I'd catch, like, a day somewhere where I'd be able to kind of let my hair down. But now I'm just focused on track. But it was the hardest thing transitioning back and forth, not just because of doing 2 sports, but just the demands of each sport were different. One required me to gain weight. Track requires me to be on the slimmer side. One requires me to work with a group of teammates. Track is more individualized. So it's that whole balance. Sometimes it complemented me, and it was a cool like yin and yang experience. And other times it felt more like a divorce. I was like, get me out of this situation. So, yeah.
Well, could you also elaborate on how difficult the 100-meter hurdles is in the United States? It's arguably the deepest event in this country on the men's or women's side.
It's a thrilling event. I mean, right now, especially like coming off Drake relays, it was such a great event to watch, and it's so competitive. Any one of those girls can line up and win, and that's what the hurdles are about. It's not even in just the 100 hurdles, 400 hurdles. Anything can happen. Anybody can win, and so it is a very competitive field. And so it sucks because I have to run it, and you're like you kind of wish it was easier, but at the same time, that you're competing with the best in the world, and at the history of the hurdles. Like when I ran in the London Olympics, it was the first time my time did not medal at any Olympic Games. So I kind of walk away with a sense of like knowing that I'm competing not only with the best in the world, but the best that have ever gone over 10 hurdles at that time. So it was cool. You gotta talk about the 40. You wanna talk about the 40?
Yeah.
You're the one running it.
No, he ain't talking about the 40.
No, but I think that's why it will pull.
I think definitely spectators. If we can get people to come out and actually see what we do, and on the other end, we have to perform. Like we have to make people know, okay, you just seen a world fastest time of the year. You seen the American record holder be the best or whatever. Like it's a relationship from both us athletes and spectators. If we can get people to fill the seats and us on the other end perform at the top of our capability, I think it will work brilliantly. But we have a large part of this deal as well. So that's what I think.
Just to add to that, I think it's fair to say that as much as we are individual, the key element to making the American Track League work is that we have to be a team in some degree. We all have to come together unselfishly and sacrifice to try to make this platform sustainable for a very bright future. Like I said, we all do different events. We're all different across the board. But if we all unite and say, hey, we're going to come together and represent at the American Track League races and help build this spectrum for everyone to come and be a part of, that's what's going to make it thrive and what's going to make it successful, is that we just, unite as one and say, we're going to come together to do something bigger than our individual contracts, our individual deals. So.
I guess elaborate real quick on the word just sacrifice there. I mean, how will this kind of change schedules for you guys? Like, obviously you guys have taken time out of your schedule to make sure you're part of this. I'm sure there's other groups that are the rest of these meets during the series.
Yeah.
How does this kind of change the way you guys schedule to kind of make an opening for this and just make sure you're here as opposed to going someplace else?
Well, that's exactly what the sacrifice would be. We've been so accustomed to running in the same places over the years. We travel the country to meets that have been well known for us making these appearances there, and to it's hard to break your routine. It's been so many years of just it being all about us, and so it's all about me. I'm gonna go here, there, Doha, China. We go where we go, and to say no, I'm not gonna necessarily always go to the same place. I'm gonna change it up a little bit and go to some of these meets in the States in order to create this base that we need to have, because we do want to have more races here at home. So I think that is the sacrifice, just basically saying I'm going to break the routine that I've been in for so many years and get into this new routine of trying to run here at home. And I think we'll see the benefit of it. Maybe it may not be as great as we want to be on the front end, as far as, oh, I made a sacrifice here, maybe I could have gotten paid more to run there or this or that. But I think ultimately the bigger picture is for us to have this strong foundation of what this league is supposed to stand for. So it's worth the sacrifice to me. It's well worth it.
I think also another sacrifice is a lot of the events are run differently. So like in the field events, there's a 3-attempt height at a bar, then they move on. That's unheard of in track and field. If you're a high jumper, you get 3 attempts at a bar, not 3 attempts of people making the bar and then they just move on to the next height. So it's going to make field events go a lot faster. Another thing is the men's qualifications for the 100 meters. I was trying to tell Trell to talk about it because it's so cool. The number one question track athletes get asked is, what's your time in the 40? They all want to compare us to the NFL Combine. So what Paul has done is now they have a qualification system to even get in the 100. You have to run a 40 time to get in, and it's open to the public. Anybody can run that race. And if they beat a pro, they get a lane in the 100-meter dash. That is ridiculous. That is unheard of. It's a new concept. It blows my mind. So it is a sacrifice for the athletes because now they're having to run a 40 before they run the 100. And then if they get beat by a regular Joe Schmo off the couch, their pride is going to be so damaged. And that's something I want to see. And I think a lot of people want to see that. And I think that's the key that it's going to work, because it isn't a typical track meet. It's a brand new element. It's fresh. It's exciting. And I think it will get a lot of fans that don't really like the pattern of track and field, how it has been 4-hour-long meets. It's going to fly by, and I really encourage people to come out and see something really cool.
Lucinda, you've been, I think, pretty candid, basically, just stating the fact that, a couple surveys have shown that half of, so-called pro track athletes only make about $15,000 a year off their sport, which is
unheard of.
Probably less than minimum wage. Should the athletes even have to sacrifice? I mean, should USA Track and Field step up and they soon get this huge infusion of money from Nike. It seems like maybe they could, if not be responsible for, assist with some seed money to start a series, and maybe not be like the Diamond League, but certainly be complementary to it.
Two things I know. One thing is, it takes more than me just saying that, majority of athletes make under the, poverty rate. But, and I also know, I'm smart enough to know that it takes more than just saying we're going to do this. So I wouldn't dare say what they need to do without being educated enough to know the process or the steps. But I do know that in anything that athletes do, and we have a federation that represents us, definitely they should be involved. So that's just my take on that.
To be involved in some way.
If a league, yeah, whatever it may be, if whatever it is for us athletes and you're our federation, of course you should be involved in what we're trying to do and how we're trying to improve our sport.
I should ask Charles before just to do it.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
What do you think about this whole idea? And second, what is your opinion?
Well, I never ran actual 40 time, but I think it's a.
Don't run it.
I think it's a.
Not even college?
No, not even in college. I think it's a cool idea that he bringing into the sport because, like Lolo said, a lot of people do ask, "What is your 40 time?" Because they know I have a fast 60 and a good start. So I'm gonna prove to the world probably tomorrow that Chris Johnson is not the fastest in the 40. With that four, I think he ran 4.24 or something back then, and I'm gonna run 4.0, 4.1 low. But I think it will bring great energy to the field tomorrow to give us track runners an opportunity to actually run a 40 and for the next best one that run the 40 to compete in the 100 with us, and and hopefully that they don't pull up.